And I think that this is how we are with the Christian life, is how often do we try to live like Jesus apart from Jesus? How often do we try to accomplish in the flesh what God has begun in the spirit? But remember what Paul said to the Galatians in regards to that activity? He says, you stupid Galatians, why are you trying to perfect in the flesh what God has begun in the spirit? You can't do it. You can't do it. If anyone thinks they can keep the law, they got to keep the law in every area, but the law brings nothing but condemnation, and that is exactly what happens when we try to live the Christian life apart from Christ in you, which is by his Holy Spirit. So we've got to receive it as a gift. The Spirit is another Jesus, which means that the Spirit will continually, how do we know it's the Holy Spirit? Is that the Holy Spirit always points us to Jesus. Again and again, don't be weirded out that you don't think about the Holy Spirit more. That is how he intends it. The Holy Spirit is constantly directing our attention back to Christ. The Spirit is a perpetual personal presence. Jesus says, whoever loves me and keeps my commandments, I will love him, and my Father will love him, and we will come to him and make our home within them. God's presence is not detached. He doesn't leave you when you fail. In fact, God seems to have the exact opposite tendency than what the church has often declared, which is an absolute untruth, and that is that God cannot be in the presence of sin. All God does through the entire Bible is get in the presence of sin. What do you think Jesus became on the cross? A sin bearer. What do you think God did when our first parents fell? Did he turn his back on them? No. He went directly to where they were at in their brokenness. And it said that God was walking in the garden. It wasn't God who was hiding from man. It was mankind who was hiding from him. And this is what we continue to do, is we hide, because the enemy gets us to believe when we fail that God is angry with us. But God's judgment was dealt with at the cross. And what hurts and grieves his heart is when we refuse to turn to him for help. And I can promise you, the moment you're willing to look up and say, Spirit, help me, he's there to meet you.